Did you literally make a friend?
Yeah, I poured some of the magical real butter on a stick, and I named him Sticky.
That's very original.
He's a prophet. He can, prophesize things.
What are you talking about?
He can, predict stuff. It's kind of cool. You want to meet him?
I guess we have to, yeah.
Okay, let me go get him.
You're listening to the Real Butter Buttercast, folks.
Where am I?
Huh?
What?
Hello, Sticky. This is Theodore.
What is this contraption? Where is the voice coming from?
Oh, I see that Poppy has not explained to you the ways of the world yet.
What is happening?
Oh my god.
Would you like to hear a prophecy?
Yes, I would.
I prophesize that there will be rain.
All right. Wow.
Wait, like when? Like now or?
Soon.
That's not very precise.
I'm not really good at this. I don't really care about rain. I live inside. It doesn't really matter. Can you do something cooler? Like something more, interesting? You kind of letting me down, man. Not really good friend.
Yeah, like world events or when someone will die or something. Something dramatic.
You were born at some point in time. You were born.
That's kind of a given. Everyone's born, idiot. God, you're kind of stupid.
Where did you find this stick, Poppy?
I should have named him Stupid, the stick. Jeez.
Well, that's rough. He is only he's a newborn, I guess.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He'll get better. So, Theo, what's new with you?
Okay, so I don't know if you remember, but last time when we talked, I was living in an abandoned sitcom set here in Hollywood. But, of course, there are security guards, and things got a little chancy. So I took a little hop out the window, cut myself a little bit on the way out, landed in a rose bush, a few more scratches there. I was kind of jogging down the street, suffering a bit of blood loss, kind of sort of passed out. I don't know how it happened, but I basically woke up in a boat.
I prophesied that the boat was on water.
Well, actually, no. It was in someone's backyard.
It was in someone's backyard.
I guess it was in the water in the past. So
you just said what he just said. How is that prophesizing anything?
I knew it before. I forgot.
You forgot?
Yeah, he can see the future, but he forgets things.
So he's just normal? He's just a stick?
Hey, man. He seems a lot friendlier than you are, so...
I think this is because he's stupid and he doesn't know who you are.
I prophesize...
What?
I prophesize that Poppy will kill you.
What? A bee?
No.
I'm not allergic to bees.
No,
How would that happen?
He said that I was going to kill you.
Oh, wait. Poppy or a bee? I thought you said a bee.
I prophesize that Poppy will kill you with a bee.
What?
Why are you telling him this? Why did you... Oh, man, I gotta think of something else now. But don't say it. Don't tell him.
What the heck?
What am I gonna do with this bee? Man, I had it in this... Oh, I think it's dead. Maybe I should have poked some holes in the jar. Sorry.
All right, well, let's start the show, shall we?
I prophesize that the show...
No, I don't want to hear anymore. Stop it.
You shut up. I prophesize that the show will start right now.
Oh, very good.
Real Butter.
I see dead people.
I thought you weren't insane anymore.
Yeah, I'm actually a thing. I'm a being.
My eyeballs could have been sucked from their sockets.
Maybe it'll all just go away. Like a bad dream.
I doubt it.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Still coming to you from the entirely empty employee break room of the quiet and quarantined Theodore Brothers Theater on the garbage-strewn outskirts of a minor locked-down American city. This is the Real Butter Buttercast. I'm Peter Theodore.
And I am Theodore, coming to you from sunny Los Angeles in the back of a rotten old boat in a stranger's backyard.
And I'm Amanda LeBlanc. I wasn't sure if you were done yet.
I'm sorry.
I wasn't sure when you were going to be done, so I just kept waiting.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, everybody. Today's episode will be called Happy Max and Mad Feet. And we'll be doing a unique episode, a sort of Real Butter, non-comprehensive retrospective of the filmmaker George Miller.
What a guy. Very diverse.
And we've all seen one of his films, or more.
Or more. I saw the Witches of Eastwick, and I also have seen Happy Feet. I didn't get to see the second one, which I'm really upset about. I was really excited about that in the last episode, and I couldn't find it, and I don't want to talk about it. I'm just mad.
Oh, it's on HBO.
Theo, what did you see?
Okay, well, I watched my favorite little series, the Mad Max. There's 4 of them. Beginning with I watched 1979's Mad Max, 1981's Mad Max 2, 1985 Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, and of course 2015 Mad Max Fury Road.
That's a lot of Mad Max, man.
I love Mad Max.
My parents made me watch all of them when I was a child, and they scarred me.
Oh.
I don't think you should watch those as a child. It's kind of gruesome.
I mean, I was probably like 13 or something. I don't know. These movies are so great. They're classics. They're amazing. And then I watched it. I was like, why would you make me watch that? It's like the most... I mean, okay. Anyway.
Didn't a kid die in that in the first movie? Like,
yes,
a baby got ran over?
Like, horrifically.
Hey, let's show this to our kid.
Anyway, I watched Happy Feet, which, given my current state, I don't know if it was the smartest decision, because it just made me really emotional about babies, and I was sobbing within the first 2 minutes. So
remind me, this is about the tap dancing penguin. Is that correct?
Yes.
Well, specifically one tap dancing penguin who can't sing, which is apparently what emperor penguins normally do.
Right.
This one cannot sing.
So this is a documentary?
Yes. No. Yes.
I mean, we all wish so, but no, definitely not animated. What? But also using real, it's it has some non-animated elements, and I'm not really sure what exact. I mean, I know it had satellite images of the Earth,
and then it had people, human beings.
It had
right?
real people. Yeah.
Yeah, at the end, it had some humans looking at them, and they're like, "Whoa, they're aliens."
Yeah. Yep.
Fantastic. Well, for me, I just kind of dove into the Witches of Eastwick, just had no idea. I gotta say, what the heck? I honestly don't know what the heck was going on half the time. I'm pretty sure Jack Nicholson was in there. Pretty sure he was supposed to be the devil. And then, there were 3 witches, but they never really established that they were witches. They just kind of I guess it felt like I was watching the second movie to something, the sequel to something, because it felt like it was already established that they were witches, but they never really dove into that. It was just assumed. But it was very nonchalant, whoa, I'm floating now. I didn't know I could do that. And that was the whole movie. I feel like I was on an acid trip or something.
Well,
apparently based on John Updike's 1984 novel, The Witches of Eastwick.
Maybe it was because they trimmed it down for the movie.
Yeah, it could have been.
I don't know, but it was hilarious. Just at the fact that I felt like I had no idea what was going on half the time. It was entertaining. There was a big monster version of Jack Nicholson at the end, which was fantastic. Scary.
I think. Yeah, it's just Jack Nicholson.
It was just him, but blown up.
He can do that.
He's
amazing actor. Yeah, so that was another bizarre choice, George Miller.
Yeah, I'm still somewhat speechless about the whole thing. Just I don't know what I saw. I guess go watch it. It's fantastic. You'll love it.
Good for you, Peter. Good for you for going out there and doing it.
Yeah, I'm really pissed off that I couldn't see Happy Feet 2. I've never seen the sequel, and
Well, maybe we can do a sequel to this episode.
Okay.
I don't think I've seen Happy Feet 2 either.
Sick.
Not a lot of people did. Apparently, that's sort of a sad story.
I didn't know it was a thing.
I just learned today. I was reading about it. I didn't have time to watch it, but I was reading that Brad Pitt and Matt Damon played gay Krill, which
that's fantastic.
An interesting sentence that I've never said out loud before. No.
Gay Krill. I'm gonna say that. I love that.
And apparently they're the best part of the movie, and they're like existential Krill, which is also great. And the parts were originally written for Stephen Colbert and Jon Stewart, but they couldn't. Their schedules did not allow for them to actually film the role. So we got Matt Damon and Brad Pitt, which is funny. I don't know why. Like, oh, we can't get Colbert and Stewart. Might as well get Matt Damon and Brad Pitt. You know? Like,
yeah.
Have they ever been the second choice for anything?
Plan B.
Let's just grab the biggest movie stars in the world real quick.
Yeah. Instead of like these two obscure, like cable news, like satirical news anchors.
If you two quit this show, I'm gonna hire Brad Pitt and Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll do it.
Yeah,
they don't have enough to do right now.
They would be good second choices.
Oh, thanks, man.
That's nice.
Well, yes, George Miller, born 3rd of March 1945 in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, is probably most well known for the Mad Max franchise, although obviously he occasionally nips off to do animated movies about dancing penguins and sort of witches, and also he wrote the screenplay for Babe.
What?
Yeah. And he directed the follow-up sequel, Babe, Pig in the City.
Oh, I did like that movie.
This guy is so diverse. This is weird.
Yeah.
Well, you know, clearly he's good at everything, you know? Not just terrible, I mean like terrifying movies.
Right.
But also like happy children's movies.
Happy Feet movie is...
I mean, although watching Happy Feet as an adult now, I was emotional.
So in a way, I was thinking that Happy Feet and Mad Max, which are both co-written by him and directed by him, have a similarity in that the hero lives in sort of a desolate, treeless place. And, okay, no, it's...
Yeah, I mean, Antarctica doesn't have trees.
Right, like the post-apocalyptic Australian outback.
But I don't think, I mean, actually, no, not really, because Mumble, the penguin, tap dancing penguin, named Mumble, he goes out in search of fish so in order to feed his entire colony of Empire penguins from Emperor Land. And Mad Max just wants to watch the world burn because he's on a trip of vengeance.
Okay, so I would say in the first Mad Max, he's definitely on a revenge situation against the gang that does terrible things. I won't spoil it.
Terrible.
At that point, so in Mad Max in the first one, it's not really the post-apocalypse yet. It's just sort of the world, but there's been sort of a breakdown, and there's a gas crisis, so everybody's sort of murdering each other for gas.
So it's pre-apocalypse.
Yeah. Things are bad, but they're not like all the way yet. And Max is part of a kind of a police force that patrols around. So there's still some structure, right?
Right.
And then by the time of Mad Max 2, which is a couple of years later, I think I've heard 3, some people say 5 years later, this is more post-apocalypse. Like the structure is completely broken down. There's roving bands of marauders, and Max is he's more like a cowboy in an old western who wanders into town, and there's people who need his help, and he helps them, and then he leaves again at the end. You know, he's like the really hardcore guy. And this is definitely more like a science fiction movie. And then Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, which is one of the best titles ever, happens 15 years after that. Although it was made only 4 years later, but it's set 15 years later.
Wow.
The world is in an actual post-apocalypse. Like, there's actually been a nuclear event, and all the kids are growing up in this nuclear world, so there's irradiated things and whatnot.
Ooh.
And then he didn't make a Mad Max movie for 30 years.
It'd be like that sometimes, I guess.
Yeah.
So
that's called Fury Road. I guess he was originally supposed to make it with, Mel Gibson, but then like time went on and there was delays, and Mel Gibson got too old and crazy, so they got Tom Hardy instead.
Same thing. Just throw a mask on him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how many years later was that set from?
Well, see, that's a little ambiguous.
Oh.
it's kind of just in the Mad Max world. And personally, I would say that since Tom Hardy doesn't look particularly old, that I would venture a guess that it's actually before Beyond Thunderdome, sometime in that ambiguous period there.
Okay.
Max has a few kind of flashbacks to people he's lost along the way, one of whom is a little girl who calls him daddy or father or something like that. So that could be a child of his or just somebody he helped along the way. It's very ambiguous. But I don't think the director really cares. That movie, I think, is possibly the best, which is really weird that it would be the fourth one. But it's just an insane car chase from beginning to end. Amazing soundtrack. Charlize Theron, like a heron? She's fantastic. She's Imperator Furiosa. And apparently there's a planned spin-off movie just called Furiosa, Mad Max Furiosa. That's supposed to come out in 2022.
I'm down.
Is that the armless chick?
Are you surprised that I'm a huge fan of that tribe of women in Mad Max Fury Road? Are you really surprised?
I'm not.
They're amazing.
Then break out of their own captivity. Oh, so
yeah, they're the heroes of the film. Really, Max just helps a little bit.
He helps them. Well, for most of the movie, he's strapped on the front of a car.
Yeah.
So he's mostly there to look pretty
with a mask on.
Yeah, it's Tom Hardy. You can do it.
Honestly, yeah. All right, so
That's my Mad Max summary, and right now I just really want to buy a leather jacket.
You should.
Spikes on it, and
since you're homeless, I definitely think you should buy a leather jacket.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the back of this boat.
I was going to say, you could probably find one. It might not look great, but you'll have one.
No, it smells terrible in here, but as far as I can tell, the owner is not home, so I kind of have this whole backyard to myself.
Right, let's not talk about this on the air. That's definitely illegal. Amanda, what would you...
give out the address. Come on.
Amanda, what would you rate Happy Feet?
Well, I haven't even talked about Happy Feet. Am I just rating Happy Feet?
Just rate it, and then we'll talk about it.
Well, I think it's like a 4 out of 5.
Dang. Okay.
I think.
Cool.
I don't know. I actually bought the movie instead of renting it because I figured, I'll probably watch it again. And watching it now as an adult versus when I watched it the first time as a kid, and I probably watched it several times as a kid, but it's just fun to see the references that I understand more now than I did when I was a kid. I really liked the movie and I understood. I knew what some of the songs were, but to know all of the songs and to like Mumble, his parents are named Norma Jean and Memphis, and they are obviously their voice. It's Nicole Kidman and Hugh Jackman, and they're obviously imitating Marilyn Monroe, whose original name is Norma Jean.
Hugh Jackman?
And,
what?
Yeah, and Hugh Jackman is mimicking Elvis Presley.
Oh my
Memphis.
Gosh, what?
Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
Whoa.
Yeah. And they do all their own singing, which Hugh Jackman has been on Broadway many times before, and Nicole Kidman has sang, most notably, in my opinion, in Moulin Rouge.
Wow. I'd never looked up the cast before. I had no idea.
Yeah. Well, and I remember this is going to make me sound weird, but I remember liking Happy Feet back in the day because of Elijah Wood, which I think I mentioned last week.
Yeah.
Because I was a huge Frodo fan. I loved Lord of the Rings in middle school. And I read all of the books a million times and watched the movies a million times and was obsessed. So I watched it specifically because I was like, wow, Elijah Wood, amazing. And then to watch it later now and to recognize these other voices was really cool. And I didn't know Robin Williams has 2 voices in the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Ramon and Lovelace.
Huh.
And it's always great to hear his voice. He's a magnificent voice actor.
Right.
And
not surprised he has 2 voices in there.
Brittany Murphy plays the love interest, Gloria, which she has also passed away. And she had a really great singing voice too. So just kind of nostalgic, for different time.
Fantastic cast.
But I thought the mother was going to die. I couldn't remember if she lived or died. And I was sobbing at the thought of this mother dying while her egg was being watched over by her husband. So,
yeah.
Really hits home.
Yeah, it hit home. When she came back, I was like, oh my god, she's alive. This cartoon penguin I was so obsessed with. And Mumble, I don't know. I think that's a great movie, especially for kids, to show that even if you're different, you're still special, and the thing that makes you different is what makes you special.
Aww.
And I think that's a really sweet message, because Mumble is the only one who could save his penguin family, because his special tap dancing skills, which, all of the penguins thought was abnormal and gross because he can't sing. That's what led humans to find Emperor Land and to realize that they were cutting off their food supply of fish, and then they got fish then. And people all over the world were watching this tap dancing penguin like, oh, we got to save the penguins. So
I never.
it's a little bit.
Wow.
What?
I know. I never. I mean, I was so young when I watched it. I never even understood the plot. Honestly,
right.
I'd never even. That's like reading. That's like listening or watching a new movie. At that point, I had no idea that was the plot of the whole movie.
It's a little bit unbelievable. I mean, obviously it's unbelievable. Tap dancing penguins, but he's so angry that these fishing ships don't care that they're taking all the fish, that he follows them from Antarctica to Florida. Which, I don't know if this little penguin could really swim that far, and he just washed up on the beach and then just put him in a zoo.
He did, though.
And then, I don't know, how, you see him start tap dancing in the zoo exhibit, and everyone's all excited about this tap dancing penguin. And then the next scene is, he's back in Emperor Land with, a radio transmitter on him, and he's like, I think they're going to come and find me because they have this radio thing on me. And it's like, how would you, what? And then, the people show up on a helicopter, and they're, watching, and all of these penguins decide to start tap dancing, and, they all, know the same sequence,
Yeah, it's like a musical. Yeah. They all just burst into song in unison.
And then you have someone there like, what are the penguins trying to tell us? And this guy's like, I think they're taking their food supply. How did you know that? What belief did you have to make in your mind to go from, well, they're tap dancing, they're hungry? I don't know.
I mean, if I saw a tap dancing penguin, I would immediately assume that it's hungry. It's not doing that for free.
I would just be like, wow, that's really cool. I wonder if it knows it's tap dancing.
You wouldn't reward it? You monster.
Yeah, so...
Speaking of tap dancing, did you know that the great dancer Savion Glover was the co-choreographer of the dance sequences?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and he did the tap dancing for Mumble. It was motion captured. And he even wore a head apparatus that looked like a penguin's beak.
Oh my gosh.
That's fantastic.
I was reading about the movie today, and I read that, now I can't remember what it's called, but the fancy shoes that tap dancers used to wear with the 3 buttons on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Mumble has 3 little dots on his feet that are meant to mimic that, and he also has a little bow tie pattern on his chest and his fur. And it's a reference to Fred Astaire.
So adorable.
And I also read, which I thought that, I have a great fondness for Prince, and his song "Kiss" is one of the first songs sung in the movie, and it's where Mumble's parents fall in love. And at first he wasn't going to let them. He denied permission to use the song "Kiss," and it's the perfect song, for this moment. But then after he watched the movie, he let them use the song, and he wrote an original song for the credits.
Oh my gosh!
Which won him a Golden Globe Award. So he loves the movie so much. He was like, "Oh yes, also I'll write you a song."
Wow.
So
see, even he liked it.
Yeah, if Prince likes it, it's a good movie.
Right.
It's a particular fellow.
Obvious reasons.
So
great.
Yeah, all in all, highly recommend.
What a diverse movie review this week.
Yeah, it was all over the place.
Unified by their.
Oh, also, guess who else is in? Happy Feet?
Who?
Steve Irwin.
What?
Yeah. He's one of the elephant seals, or whatever they're called.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The crocodile hunter.
It actually came out the year he passed away, the movie.
Poor taste there.
Then he was another character too, which was cut from the movie, but then he had done his voice part and they had never animated it because they just decided to cut it. And after he passed away, you can find it on the DVD extras apparently, but they animated the scene as an homage to him.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, if you want a good cry, go watch this movie, I guess, and the extra scenes.
I guess, say what you want about George Miller's kind of his odd taste in going all over the place. His heart's in the right place.
Well, yeah, he's not bad in any of these movies. Babe is a classic.
Right.
Happy Feet is really good. All of the Mad Maxes are good, which you can't really say that about any sort of. I don't know. What other series can you say that about, where they just do sequel after sequel, where every single sequel is amazing, in its own right?
Yeah, you can't say that about a lot of movie sequels.
No, there's always one that's like garbage,
Right.
At least.
At least one, yeah, that's garbage.
So.
Fantastic.
And also, he kind of looks like an instructor at Hogwarts.
I thought he was.
He's got white hair, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's sort of gray hair, but it's little streaks, and he's got little circular glasses and scarf and stuff. He's got a little twinkle in his eye. I think he's definitely teaching Hogwarts.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
He's
Sorry,
probably
I just kind of ducked down for a second. There's a neighbor walking by.
he's probably in the movie.
In the Harry Potter movie?
Yeah. For all we know, he probably helped direct it or something. I don't even know.
Involved in some way.
Yeah. Wow, great. So I guess we're going to watch Happy Feet 2 next episode. Can't wait.
He also directed a segment of the Twilight Zone movie in 1983.
All right, we'll watch that.
He's done a lot of stuff in Australia to help Australian production and Australian animation and things like that. So good guy.
Fantastic.
Good guy. He was also supposed to direct a Justice League film back in 2007.
Whoa.
But because of the writer's strike back then and this and that, he didn't do it.
Oh, is that where Armie Hammer was supposed to be Batman?
I believe so. But then The Dark Knight just came out and it was very popular, so they nicked that.
Dang, dude.
Yeah.
Blow my mind.
And then he was supposed to make several more sequels to Fury Road, but there's been this 7-year lawsuit between his company and Warner Brothers about a $7 million bonus that he was supposed to get for getting the movie in under budget or something. So even though he has scripts for at least 2 more Fury Road movies and the Furiosa movie, they're just kind of waiting for that to finish up. So that's kind of annoying.
Just pay the man.
Pay him.
Pay the man.
Good Lord. Fury Road is considered one of the best movies ever. Yeah. It was nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah. That movie made me stress like not a lot of movies do.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
The entire movie. Just sitting there just like,
if you want to stress out, just get that soundtrack and play it.
Oh, God.
All day.
Nope.
All right,
I don't know why you would want to do that. I can't imagine a scenario where you would want to freak out all day.
Oh, yeah, I want to listen to a soundtrack today. What shall it be? Fury Road, how relaxing. My choices are Fury Road or Psycho. Which one will relax me the most?
Maybe go every other.
How about Happy Feet?
Yeah, Happy Feet. All right, Butterheads. Right. That was a variety of movies. Go watch every single one of them right now.
And then record your own podcast.
And then join us. And then we'll have a big community. It'll be great. All right.
Stay safe, everybody.
Yeah.
We're gonna cut to commercial now and invent something else.
All right. And commercial break. Right about now.
The Real Butter Buttercast. The Real Butter Buttercast.
Hello?
Hello?
Enter? Amanda?
Hello?
Hey, guys. So, what y'all been watching? What you been streaming during these days of quarantining?
Top Chef.
Top Chef?
Only Top Chef.
Who's your favorite chef?
Tom Colicchio. He's the head judge. He has 6 restaurants in the U.S.
Good grief.
And he's bald, and he's 6 years old, and I think he's great.
Is he nice to the contestants? Is he encouraging?
Yeah, he's encouraging. He's tough, but encouraging. I'm on season 14. Okay, I watched a lot of Top Chef.
How many seasons are there?
I watched the first 4 seasons a while ago, maybe a year ago, and then I stopped watching. So I started on season 5.
Okay.
And so I've watched season 5 through 14 straight.
How many are there?
Within the last I don't know, maybe 3 weeks. I go through these phases, where I only watch one thing.
How many seasons are there?
They're airing the second All-Star season right now. So there might be 18 seasons, maybe.
Oh my God.
I know, I'm almost there. How exciting.
Dude, what are you gonna do when it's over?
Oh my god, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to find a new show. Although I still have I'm behind one season on Beverly Hills, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which is one show that I enjoy, but I can't watch it all the time because it makes me angry sometimes because they have so much and yet they're miserable, and then it's just well, you shouldn't be miserable. You have everything, So I can't watch huge amounts of wealth all the time, and especially during this pandemic. I don't know if that's the best choice for me, especially since I've unfollowed pretty much every celebrity and influencer I followed on Instagram because I can't stand them right now. So it's oh, we're all in this together. And they're, posting it from their pool in their 10,000 square foot mansion.
Man, this sucks. I'm in quarantine. Dude, you're in a small suburb right
You're in
now.
a resort. Yeah. You're literally quarantining in your own resort that you own, and you're not worried about money. I live in a very small apartment. Granted, I am moving very soon, but I live in a very small apartment. I have no outdoor space of my own. Do you know how excited I am? Just to be able to sit in my front yard in a lawn chair and just be able to sit in grass, and it's my own grass, and, I don't have to worry. I have big windows that look out. I'm on the ground floor, so they look out onto the grass, and I have waved at so many people walking their dogs past my window since I work from home now. It's how excited I am to not have to do that, have my own garage. This is what I'm excited about. I don't need to see you sitting in your mansion crying about how awful it is. It's you want us to trade places,
Man, I'll tell you, this quarantine's so bad I had to move mansions. I'm in my second one now. Man.
I mean, literally, that's what Ellen DeGeneres has been doing for the last...
Oh my gosh. Ellen! Come on.
This is my Monday mansion, and this is my Tuesday mansion.
Well,
I like to rotate through. I don't like to see the same 19 walls every day.
And it's I thought we were supposed to stay in place, Yeah, Kylie Jenner, one day she's at a Calabasas house, the next day she's in Palm Springs.
Yeah.
The next day she's at her friend's house in Beverly Hills. The next day, she's bought herself literally a resort compound. She just bought herself a $36 million resort compound in the Hidden Hills, which is in LA.
How do you know this if you unfollowed all of them?
Well, because I can't believe I'm admitting this on.
Oh man.
Someone. But I read the Daily Mail Snapchat story every day, and I have
That's
and it's
great.
It's my guilty pleasure. Okay, it's trash, and I know it's trash. But I'm honestly how I keep up on a lot of celebrities. Okay, it is what it is. Shame me all you want.
I'm not shaming you. You do you, man.
Sometimes I don't. I mean, a lot of the times I don't read the Kardashian stories because I just don't care. But then I get confused. Why are they just traveling between their mansions? We're supposed to be staying in place. Shouldn't they be an example for us all? I don't know.
The Kardashians, yeah, they are. They're supposed to be held up as a model for behavior for our culture. But
oh God,
I mean, in a way, Peter is quite similar because he does live at the movie theater.
Okay,
but I happen to know I've been talking to Poppy, and I've heard that Peter will spend a good portion of a day in one theater and then migrate maybe to theater 12 the next day. Watch a few movies in there, He's treating it like his own personal kind of resort.
Someone's got to use it,
Hang on a second. I'm not just doing that, but also I got to test all the screens. I got to keep them clean. I'm not going to let all this dust and stuff. This is a business, okay? This isn't a mansion. I would much rather live in a wait. No, I definitely still want to live in a movie theater than a mansion. It's cooler.
I mean, square footage wise, it's basically a mansion.
Right, but I don't have a pool. I don't even have a shower here. I have to use a sink, okay? It's uncomfortable.
You could use the mop sink.
That's gross.
Gross.
No, it has a shower head.
Yeah, but it's gross in there.
Why?
Well, clean it up.
It's a mop sink, man. You can't clean a mop sink. It's a mop sink.
I remember when you had Noah on his hands and knees scrubbing that mop sink.
Well, yeah,
it was pretty darn white when he was finished.
Right, and then
you just gotta scrub it with some bleach.
But then the next day,
why don't you just try doing the same amount of work that you had Noah doing?
But the next day, it's dirty again. There's no sense in.
Who's making that mop sink dirty? Are you mopping every day?
Yeah.
That's probably Moppy, huh? The living mop that you have clean up the floors.
His name is Moppo. Okay.
Yeah.
Moppo.
Not Moppy.
I've heard some rumors that Poppy's been bringing other people as sort of like an entourage or something.
What?
Very strange. I think it was sort of a move to impress Dot or Peter?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, you're not noticing like little groups of popcorn just parading around in the movie theater?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a thing, but, I assume that's normal. Maybe it's not normal. Maybe I should look into that. I'll look into that. Yeah.
Do you miss the movie theater, Amanda?
I mean, I miss the people at the movie theater, but I don't...
Like me, right? Yeah, mostly me.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like, I really did enjoy 98% of the time I worked there.
Aww.
But also...
I also enjoyed 9 to 8%.
I'm tired, Like, I'm tired a lot right now. And I just, I take a nap all the time, and I come home, and I can lay down, There's no... I mean, I work another full-time job, so it's not like I'm just chilling at home watching the grass grow. So...
Outside the window. And watching
literally outside the window. Yep.
And then watch someone else cut it.
Actually, I don't think I've seen any lawnmowers now when I think about it.
Huh.
But I guess maybe it is still too early, right?
Yeah.
To mow the grass?
Yeah, it's still a little bit chilly. Grass is still waking up.
It's kind of green, though.
Yeah.
I will say the highlight of my day is watching the golf course across the street, because apparently golfing is still open.
What? That makes no sense.
Apparently it's exercise.
Oh, whatever. Go on a walk.
Apparently, the clubhouse isn't open, and,
you
can't rent the carts and stuff. You have to walk.
Oh.
But
walking throughout
it's kind of fun to watch all the people.
Just watch them. I love it.
Sometimes, yeah.
I love it.
Sometimes I stand at my window, drink a glass of water, and watch people playing golf,
You're a lurker. I love it.
I mean, I live here. It's not like I'm I'm just looking out my window.
Have you seen any, weird situations go on? Like someone making out with, a golf club or something? That'd be funny.
No, I haven't. Although today I feel and I didn't stop taking a closer look. I think I was, just really hungry for lunch or something. But I saw what I thought was people walking backwards with, their golf bags on wheels, and they were walking backwards. And that was kind of weird. I was like, why are you walking backwards? But then I don't know why I wasn't curious enough to stop and be to figure out what they're doing,
What?
That was weird.
They were walking backwards.
Yeah.
Kind of seems like a moment from Twin Peaks. I've been watching Twin Peaks lately.
Oh, I've never seen that show. I mean, I know what it is, but...
It's on Netflix. The original 2 series are, anyway.
I don't know if I can watch it.
It's pretty bizarre. It's
scary, though? I mean, it's suspenseful, right?
It has moments of suspense and moments of creepiness, and then it has a lot of bizarre kind of soap opera, and you can't tell whether it's genuine soap opera stuff or a parody of soap opera.
Oh,
and
man.
it's mixed in with bizarre supernatural things.
That's great.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, it's an experience. I've watched it before. Don't think I'll be watching it again for a long time, though.
Yeah.
It's just a little much. But are you familiar with David Lynch?
Yes.
Yeah, so basically David Lynch, the very strange, very independent filmmaker, teamed up with another guy called Mark Frost, and they made this show. And the show just, it fluctuates bizarrely between this FBI agent comes to a small town to investigate the murder of a teenage girl, and then you kind of get to know the small town and all the quirky people who live there, like the log lady who has a log that speaks to her, and the waitresses at the Double R Diner, and so on, and all the sort of teenage angst and all these little love triangles and things like that. And then it's kind of there's just moments of really weird, disturbing stuff, and then just really corny love stories. And
there's aliens, right? There's
what?
The thing.
No. There's not aliens, but
Okay.
there are sort of spirits. And the FBI agent at one point he discovers more and more about these spirits that are interacting with the world, possibly inhabiting people, making them do things.
What?
Very interesting. And then David Lynch recently followed up with a season 3 a few years ago, 2014, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he did 18 episodes. He directed all of them 100%, and those are much more intense and serious. And he cut a lot of the soap opera kind of elements because he personally hates season 2 of Twin Peaks. He said so publicly.
Oh, wow.
He just thought
There's only 2 seasons? There's only 2 seasons originally?
Yes.
Why did
Second season is all over the place.
People who like that show, I feel they make it sound like it was on forever.
It was a very important show. It's
You know what
really
I mean?
interesting. People in the 1980s would just watch it like it was a regular TV show. I don't understand how that's possible. It's so trippy and weird.
Well, I'm sold.
Kyle
I'm definitely going to
MacLachlan,
watch
a
it.
David Lynch favorite.
Kyle MacLachlan, yes, he's all over it. And he gets to play 3 different characters in The Return, the new season.
Oh,
The Return.
that's fun for him.
Huh.
That's all.
Well,
Peter, what are you streaming?
I just binged the new season on Netflix. It's actually just a new series. It's called The Midnight Gospel. It just came out on 4/20. It is
Party.
Yeah, dude. It was a oh man, how do I describe this? It's animated. The main producer was Pendleton Ward, who also did Adventure Time. So praise to that guy, creative man. It's about this character Clancy. He purchases a oh my gosh, what is it even called? Let's see. It's called a multiverse simulator. Illegally purchased one, so it's malfunctioning, and so all the universes in this computer thing are all in some apocalypse, like the world is ending because the computer's malfunctioning. So what he does is he has a space podcast is what he calls it, and he uses an avatar and enters into that universe, that whichever planet he wants to go on, and interviews someone there. It's hilarious. And what I didn't realize is that it's actually based on a podcast. They used audio from a podcast called Duncan Trussell Family Hour. So it's a very well-known podcast of this comedian, Duncan Trussell, who also voices Clancy. So and it took me a while to realize that because, it's different between written dialogue and organic. You can just tell. So you could just tell. So it was... that's when I looked it up, and it was, so they would basically pull audio from some of his podcasts as he's interviewing real people. And so when they pulled those interviews and put them into a new setting, so it's crazy. And honestly, they distract from each other, to be honest with you, but it's so great. Like, I kept having to rewind because I was paying attention to the animation, which is like some, dog with antlers talking, and then it's talking about how they wrote a book. And they're talking about the book. I'm like, wait, what? It's just, it distracts from each other, but it's so unique and creative. I've never seen or heard anything like this. And now I'm going to go and listen to that podcast. So it's a mix between his, what did he call it? Family Hour podcast. And then he also voice acts for the show as well. So they would script and no script, but it's seamless. Honestly, you can't really tell unless you would look it up like I did. But it hasn't been renewed for a second season yet, but it's doing very well. So yeah, if you got Netflix, go watch that. 20 minutes per episode. They got 8 episodes. The last one is a real tearjerker. Duncan actually interviewed his dying mom. And if you can imagine that on top of just tear-jerking animation, yeah, it'll mess you up, man. Go watch it. In a good way. It'll mess you up in a good way.
Not you, Amanda. You're not allowed to.
Yeah, don't.
Probably not.
Oh, my
God. Not a show I should watch at this moment.
No. I mean, you could definitely watch all the other ones, but just not that one.
Then I would feel incomplete,
Yeah. Just mute it. Even then, it'll probably make you cry.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love it. I'm going to rewatch it just because I probably didn't catch everything because I'm trying to listen and watch this crazy animation at the same time, which is... My brain no work good like that.
I could have told you that a long time ago.
Yeah, it'd be nice now.
Hey, we're brothers.
Yeah, unfortunately. All right. Well, that's all I have. I'm going to rewatch it, honestly, and watch Happy Feet too. So
good.
Let's do it.
And then play the Buttercast while watching Happy Feet, and imagine that they're saying what we're saying, and
yes, that'll be crazy funny. Do it right now. Do it.
I don't know if you know this, listeners, but this episode of the Buttercast perfectly syncs up with Gone with the Wind. So we'll talk to you next time.
You just have to play it 3 more times in a row.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you play it back to back, this podcast episode 3 times, it'll match up perfectly.
Who knew Gone with the Wind was so repetitive?
Yeah. No, you can predict this movie like that 3 times, actually.
3 times.
Yeah. All right, Butterheads. Thanks for tuning in and hanging in there throughout this crazy time.
Yeah.
All right.
I gotta get out of this boat.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I gotta build another puzzle. This will be my 17th puzzle.
You find those extra pieces yet?
No, jerk. Stop hiding them from me.
Not me.
Not you. Who's hiding the puzzle pieces?
I gotta go. Bye.
Must be Poppy, huh? All right. Toodaloo, everyone. Stay tuned for the next Buttercast. We'll probably review Happy Feet too. Why not at this point? Okay. See ya.
Bye.
No thanks. 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 No thanks.
I don't like this reality version.
No thanks.